welcome back to our viewers. Of course, the show continues here where, of course, an aviation and defense extravaganza continues to awe the crowds here. I tell you, Alicia, the crowd is swelling by the seconds. Right now, just looking at how many people are gathered down there, I tell you, it must probably be around 40 to 50,000 people that are already here. And of course, in the sky, a lot of entertainment. You can see that chopper that is, of course, giving the entertainment to the crowd that's gathering on the ground. The kids are excited, and of course, and the older people are also bringing out the inner children in them when they look at the entertainment in the sky. So it's really a great day. And as I said earlier, another great day is that the weather is also on our side. It's not that hot temperature that, of course, is known for Pretoria. It's nice and cool, so everybody is relaxing and enjoying this great aviation show that's playing out in the skies here above, of course, the Waterkloof Airforce base. But earlier, we also saw the nice show that, of course, was given by the Paramount Group's K9 unit. And to talk more about what was happening there, I'm now joined by Eric Ichakovich from, of course, the Paramount Group. Of course, take us through the K9 unit of Paramount, what its significance is, and just how it managed to entertain the crowd earlier.
Well, good morning to both you and your viewers, and it's wonderful for us to be here with you today. Earlier today, the Paramount K9 unit demonstrated some of the anti-poaching training that is taking place in South Africa at the moment by our K9 anti-poaching training facility. It was a world first for South Africa and for the continent, because for the first time we parachuted a dog from a helicopter. So the dog was attached to its handler through a specially constructed harness, and the handler in turn was then bolted to a tandem skydiver. Jointly they flew up to 7,000 feet, and then they dropped out of a helicopter in tandem, parachuted onto the ground, showed how the handler then releases the dog from the harness and then proceeds to effect an arrest procedure on a poacher.
Now, of course, a great show for the crowds that are gathered here, and really just bringing those efforts closer to them to see how such units get involved. Tell us more about or give us an example rather of a practical show that you would get involved in, or rather a practical example to be correct. I'm sure you also very much involved with rhino poaching syndicates, not involved with them rather, but rather fighting against them to be correct. And maybe just give us an example of where you have been involved in that.
So absolutely, Paramount Group is exceptionally committed to preserving our wildlife and to conservation. The anti-poaching unit was set up as part of our corporate social responsibility program, and today has grown into a program where we have in excess of 150 Belgian Mellineurs at different stages of training. We have trained conservation officers from almost 7 countries. We have 4 different sets of conservation officers operating in everything from savanna environments to bush and to jungle environments, etc. And that's one of the things we were demonstrating today, is how today conservation is taking place in a low-intensity warfare environment. And it's critically important that we equip anti-poaching officers to be able to deal with the environment in which they're operating. So we demonstrated the ability for us to airdrop dogs and handlers into remote fields. We also demonstrated rappelling a dog from a helicopter, simulating a drop into a jungle environment. And all of this is to equip anti-poaching officers in the work that they're doing against the scourge of poaching that is taking place on our continent at the moment.
Let's talk about, of course, the training that the K9s do undergo to to actually be able to be that skilled and be able to demonstrate to not just the crowd that's here, but also other people that have an interest to use such services?
So at the Paramount Canine Training Facility, we train the dogs at least to the age of 2 years old before we'll actually release them into service. We work primarily with a breed called Belgian Meloners and with German Shepherds, and sometimes crosses between the two. Now, these dogs are trained as special forces canines, detection canines, mine detection canines, contraband canines, etc. The most important component of the training, though, is matching the right dog to the right handler. And this sometimes is a process that on its own can take upwards of 3-4 weeks. Once we've actually essentially done that, we will then purpose train the dog and the handler in the environment in which they're going to be deployed.
And how many of these canines do you have that are actually utilized for these purposes currently?
So at any one stage, we will have upwards of 150 dogs in our facility going through various different stages of training. What a lot of people don't realize is the most important part of the training is actually when the dog is a puppy, because it's at that stage that we determine how we'll be using the dog. Our trainers are specialists. They can identify whether a dog will be a working dog, if it's a working dog, if it's got enough ball drive to go into attack work or special forces work, or whether it's more acutely related to a role as a detection dog. And some of them are just best as house dogs.
The challenges that come with training those dogs, and of course the dangers that they also face. How do you prevent all of that, and how do you deal with the challenges that the dogs might face, and just the challenges of really training them to be that well skilled?
So one must remember that the dog and the dog handler are invariably the first people in an engagement, because they're the individuals who've been on the on the poacher's spoor. So it's most likely that they will have the first level of engagement. So again, the trust relationship between the dog and the handler is something that's developed over time. One of our dogs, Killer, has been in service in the Kruger National Park for some time now. Him and his handler are personally responsible for almost 200 poacher arrests so far. And their success is acutely defined to the relationship that they've developed. The handler will sense when the dog is getting closer to the source of the scent. The dog also is comfortable to continue on the scent, knowing that the handler is there to protect it.
Are your dogs only involved in South African anti-poaching initiatives, or do they go, across the globe? Are they getting involved in maybe other countries' initiatives as well? How do you operate with that?
So Paramount Group is a global defense and security business, and our business units are applied throughout the continent and throughout the world. And our canine unit is no different. Today we have dogs deployed throughout the continent of Africa, and essentially we bring the handlers into South Africa and then send the dogs back with the handlers into the countries of operation.
And you're also part of the Defence Force. You're not just operating on your own, of course. I'd love to believe that.
Absolutely, absolutely. The South African defence industry is governed very strictly by regulations and restrictions, and Paramount adheres to those very strictly.
Right, of course. Thank you so much. That, of course, being Eric Ichikovitz from the Paramount Group, who just gave us a nice explanation of what the Paramount Group's K9 unit does, the significance of course, those canines, and the important role those dogs play in the country's everyday safety and security measures. Of course, it's not just a display. They actually do play a very integral part, and they are incorporated and integrated into the holistic defense system of the country. Alicia, it is back to you in the studio here at the Waterkloof Airforce Base. Of course, the show continues, and we continue to enjoy the fun here.
Thank you so much. She looks like she's having so much fun there. Well, criminals, be aware of the Defence K9 unit there. It's game over for you. We're going to take a quick ad break. We're back with more news. Do stay with us.